Hi everyone, it's Anne from Annalise's Creations. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I'm here to do my process of the Explorations of Me, which is it's a collaboration between Gina Ahrens and Cindy Utter this year. And basically it's pretty self-explanatory. Explorations of me, exploring what you might be all about. So anyhow, I did the cover on a separate video that you will see up probably along with this video, kind of back to back, and it's kind of a how-to of how I alter the front cover of a composition book. And so this is what I've done, and it says, "Welcome to my colorful life." And I did the inside cover with some graph paper. Let me zoom out so you can see that. So I did the outside cover with some graph paper, or inside cover, not outside, with some graph paper. And then I did the title page, which says Explorations of Me, just kind of a collage that I did. I didn't film this one. Basically, I used some jelly printed paper on the background, and then I found I had a leftover lady off of a pattern. You know, the patterns that you get, like the McCall's patterns or Vogue patterns. I think this was off an old 1980s Vogue pattern. I'll zoom in a little bit more so you can see. And then I just cut out various pieces of flowers and things and outlined them with Posca pens and so on. And I glued several pages together to make this a little more sturdy. And I taped the ends with some washi tape, which is kind of good to do so that in case the pages start to come undone, because sometimes they don't glue really well together, it kind of helps with that. So on to the first main prompt, which is, how do you feel about yourself? All right. And I already wrote down what I felt about myself, as you can see the scribbles, and I went lightly over with a thin coat of gesso over the top. I want to see the scribbles, my scribbles. Basically, I put down all my negative thoughts. So this is pretty much a lot like what Gina Ahrens did last year, but instead she's collaborating with Cindy Utter, kind of like her Negativity Smackdown journal. So this is basically, I wrote down the negative feelings I've been feeling lately, and how I feel about myself, the negative thoughts I have about myself. And then I'm going to put down the positive things I feel about myself on the top. And what I might be working on this year towards my goals of the exploration of me, okay? So I'm going to get started and enjoy my process. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so you guys can see a little better. And I got this jelly printed paper. I did some jelly printing the other night. Couldn't sleep. And so I got out my jelly printing supplies and I jelly printed the night away. I did a major jelly printing because I don't have a lot of background papers and I would like to use my jelly print a lot more. And yeah, so I'm going to get started, and I'm just going to start tearing apart pieces here and just kind of adding them in different areas on my page. And what I like about the jelly printing papers, okay, the deli jelly printing papers, this is deli paper, jelly printed, okay? Try to say that 20 times fast. It's like a tongue twister. Anyhow, so what I like about them is that they're thin enough so that you can kind of see the writing in the background. Almost like kind of like tracing paper, if you ever worked with tracing paper, only that this is a little bit better than tracing paper. Tracing paper tends to slide and slip around on certain surfaces, and what I like about the deli paper is it doesn't do that. And it sticks really well, and you can sometimes see the writing coming through on the background. So that's why I like using it. So I'm just going to continue tearing bits and pieces of this jelly printed deli paper. Jelly printed deli paper. Okay. Jelly deli printed paper. How about that? Could do it 50 times, right? Fast. So I'm just going ahead and I'm adding the different areas on my paper. And I'm just going to use all of this up. That's my plan, is to use it all up. And I'm thinking about what I can put down that's positive about myself. Like, I know that I can often be very critical of myself. I can be my own worst critic and have fear of failure. I know that a lot of us have fear of failing. It's one of our number one things is failure. And that's the biggest fear I have is I don't know why, and I get anxiety over it. I've been planning in the works of putting together an Etsy shop and selling like ephemera and different things that I could sell on my shop. And just the thought of it going outside this is totally, the Etsy shop is totally going outside my comfort zone. Yeah, and I just don't know why I'm feeling so nervous. I think part of it is failure, part of it is just all the work that it entails, being that I'm a chronic pain sufferer. It just, I think, will I have the time? Will I have the energy? You know, those kinds of questions and those feelings of doubt. And that's something I'm trying to get over, and just taking the plunge is the hardest part. And yeah, so it's been kind of a long road, and I'm trying to, work on that. And so this explorations of me is coming at a good time for me, because now I can explore myself and try not to be so critical of myself while I'm doing it. So yeah, so it'll be interesting. So I'm just adding these in bits and pieces in different parts of my page, and then I'm going to add a thin layer of paint over this. Or I'm going to add paint in certain areas, I think, after this dries. So I'll be back in a minute, so you don't have to hear all the drying noise in the background. Okay. So I'll be back. So it's nice and dry, and now I'm going to come in, and I know that Cindy used her Dina Wakley paints, and I haven't used mine in a while, so I figured I'd take mine out as well and use some of these. And so I'm going to use the turquoise. I love the turquoise a lot, and I'm going to put it in little different areas here. Okay. I don't want to cover up all of the deli paper. Okay, so I'm going to come in, and I'm going to take a card. There's my gift card. I had it here the other day, of course, and you would think you'd be organized, wouldn't you? Okay, so I'm looking for that card I was using the other day. All right, so I've got a gift card, and so I'm just going to go ahead and scrape in the white areas. Like I said, I don't want to cover all of the deli paper, so I'm kind of being careful how far I'm going to scrape this paint. So if it's a little thickened at some areas, that's okay. That's how I kind of want it. So then I'm going to dry this out, and I'll be back. All right, so it's pretty much dry. Okay, so now I'm going to come back in, and I'm going to use some of the Blackberry Violet, which I really like this color a lot. This is one of my favorites from Dina Wakley. So I'm going to use it in some spots here. I'm not putting too much on because I'm going to be scraping it. And I don't want to scrape too much all over the place. So I'm going to use that same card, except I still have some turquoise paint, so I got to wipe off the excess onto my drop paper. There we go. I like scraping paint. I just like the texture it leaves behind. I think it's really cool how it leaves texture behind. I'm all into the texture and the color, the vibrancy of colors. It makes me happy. It just makes me really happy. Kind of brings me back to my childhood. You know, when you're finger painted, some people don't like to get their fingers messy, and I used to be one of those people a long time ago, but now it's like I've learned to play. I've learned I've accepted the fact that art journaling is messy, and that art is messy, and that not to let it bother me getting dirty. So next I'm going to come in and I'm going to add some, I'm going to use some stencils. I'm going to use this one that I made a long time ago that I haven't used in a while. You can see it. Okay. And I'm going to use the penny color, which is really copper, in the Dina Wakley paints. And I'm going to get a brand new makeup sponge out. And I want to use just the circle areas of this, not so much the other color parts, but I'm just kind of adding them in different areas here. Maybe I should have done the whole thing. That's okay. Alright, so I'm going to leave it like that. I have some, let's see, I thought I had black, which I don't have, so I'm going to use the umber. I thought I had black in the Dina Wakley's, but I don't. So I'm going to use the umber. Okay. And I'm going to put some on my drop paper because my palette's not big enough for this. So I'm going to put some down, and I'm going to run the edge of the card through it, and unfortunately you can't see that. Let's see if I can aim down at the piece of paint. Yeah, there's my blob of paint. See it? Right there. Okay, so I'm going to just take the edge and run it through like this. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and say that this looks too busy. There's no, oops, sorry guys, you didn't see what I just did. Dang it. Got to move the camera. Okay, so I ran the lines through. See that? Alright. So now I'm going to dry it off. Right. I'll be back. So everything is nice and dry, and I've cut out a few things. I cut out this lady that has fireworks. Kind of unusual, but I'm going to put this down. And I think she'll be apropos. Just perfect for what words I'm going to be placing down. And these words are things that I could be working on myself, but also that are a reflection of me. Okay? Or some things that I want to accomplish this year about me, since this is the explorations of me, right? So I'm putting her down, and I might alter her a little bit later, alter her. Okay, in the meantime, I like to laugh like Cindy Utter. laughter is fireworks of the soul, which I agree. This is a really good saying. Josh Billings said that. And I'm going to put this right about here. Because I think that's just says it all. Because we do feel good when we laugh, right? Especially that deep belly ache, when you get a belly ache from laughing so hard, or tears streaming down because you've laughed so hard at something that was really, really funny, or laughing at yourself, which is probably the number one thing to learn to do, is to laugh at yourself. Once you can laugh at yourself, nothing really could bother you if you can laugh at yourself. It's important to learn to laugh at yourself and to find that even though life can throw some punches, that, you got to be able to laugh at it too. And I've learned to laugh, trust me. I suffer from chronic pain, and, there's days where feel like I've been hit by a truck. But I still try to find the humor in it all, because if I didn't have the humor, I don't think I would manage with life. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so finding the real me. Okay, this journey is going to take me to finding the real me, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, so I'll show you that in a second. Finding the real me, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And yep, if you are a friend of mine, you get the good, the bad, and the ugly. If I really let my walls down and let you see inside of me, I've suffered a lot of rejection in my life, and abuse, that it has made me kind of build a wall around me, and that wall is my protection. So I tend to cover up the bad, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, the bad and the ugly more than the good. Oh, where did the bad one go? The good. Where's my bad? Where did my bad go? Oh, here it is. Well, I'll have to squeeze it in there, won't I? Right in there. There, that'll work. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, and if you get to know me, or I am all heart. When I'm asked to do something, I do it with all of my heart. I love with all of my heart. I play with all of my heart. I laugh with all of my heart. So I'm all heart, okay? And I try to be that way a lot. Now, if you also know me, I'm kind of a nerd. I kind of like nerdy things. I like to work on my computer, if that's considered a nerd. I like to watch geeky type movies. So yeah, I'm kind of a nerd. I'm a bookworm. I'm a nerd. It depends. I can be outgoing. It just depends on the situation. If I'm comfortable enough in that situation, I can be outgoing. But if I'm not comfortable in that situation, then I kind of become an introvert. So I'm kind of half and half. All right. So next, I've got my next things here. Okay. And as I mentioned before, I do suffer from chronic pain. It's a daily struggle. I have to conserve my energy. So basically before, like if I'm getting ready to go on a trip, for instance, I have to rest at least 2 or 3 days ahead of time to conserve my energy, because otherwise my pain levels go up really, really high. So I have to be prepared. But the way some of the things that I do to deal with that is I listen to music to help ease my pain. I do art is a form of my painkiller. Not 100%. It doesn't take all the pain away, but it helps to at least get my mind off of the pain. So that's why I'm putting this down. Art is my painkiller. And I wouldn't say it takes away all of the pain, because I'm always in pain, but it helps get my mind off of it for at least for a little while. And that's important, because if I couldn't, I think I would go out of my mind. And for those of you that suffer from some kind of chronic illness, chronic pain, cancer, any kind of chronic disease, illness, you understand that the pain can drive somebody insane. It could, and I know it has. Okay, so next I am putting down, I'm following a path to creativity and joy. That's what I'm following. This should be my motto for my life. Is my art is almost my everything in some ways. I mean, yes, I have my family, I have my husband, I have their love and stuff, but I'm following my creativity and joy. It brings me a lot of joy. It brings me a lot of joy when I see people watching my videos and they leave me words of inspiration, like, you really inspire me, and I'm glad to hear that I can inspire others with my art and my work. So it does bring me great joy. And I'm following that path. I'm following my path to creativity, to joy. And so that's why I'm putting these words down. Okay. And life to me is a colorful journey. And it is what you make of it. You could sit and wallow in your misery and, woe's me. But at the end of the day, you have to be happy with yourself. And, if, you're always thinking dark thoughts, your life, won't be colorful. And so to me, my life is a colorful journey. I enjoy, even when I'm in pain, I try to find the good, try to find the positive in it, is what I'm trying to say. Being that, so to me, my life is a colorful journey. So that's why I'm putting this one down. And I could put a lot more phrases and words here, but this is where I'm going to stop, because I don't have any more room on the page either. And I'm just going to quickly finish up the edges and stuff with this. So I'm going to fast forward through that part so I don't bore you. Let's see. This is going to have to go up like this. Like that. Probably should have put that down before I had put the art as my painkiller down first, but oh well. So that's going to go there. Whoop. So this is me. This explains some of what I'm all about. And I think that it explains me pretty well. And so this year I'm trying to focus on showing more of myself, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And whether people like it or not, oh well, right? So. right, I hope you enjoyed this, and I shall see you next time. Bye, toodles!